Support comes from Hughes Federal Credit Union, a local not-for-profit cooperative offering Diana Medeiros debit cards that generate support for the Tucson Wildlife Center. Details are at hughesfcu.org/MADARAS. Member NCUA.
Welcome to AZPM News Daily, a wrap-up of all the day's news from Arizona Public Media. I'm Steve Jess. On today's news, Southern Arizona Catholics have a new bishop.
First and foremost, I give thanks to Pope Leo for calling me to this place.
A tagger faces charges after defacing a Tucson mural.
Tucson's a wonderful place because people really have respect for the murals in town.
And the Mount Graham Red Squirrel is back from the brink of extinction.
After the Fry Fire of 2017, their population fell to just 35.
Starting off on this Monday, this morning Pope Leo appointed Father James Misko as the 8th bishop of the Diocese of Tucson. L.M. Boyd has that story.
Bishop-elect Misko will succeed Archbishop Edward Weisenberger, who was appointed to the Archdiocese of Detroit in March. Misko was ordained a priest in June 2007 in the Diocese of Austin, Texas. He met with clergy and the laity this morning at the Bishop Kakanis Pastoral Center, where he spoke.
And I'm really, really happy to be here in Tucson. What a beautiful city that you have. And there's so many people that I would like to give thanks to. First and foremost, I give thanks to Pope Leo for calling me to this place.
Misko is a native of Texas and is currently serving as the Vicar General and moderator of the Curia for the Diocese of Austin. His ordination and installation will be held on February 20th, 2026. L.M. Boyd, AZPM News.
Concerns are growing over the use of flock safety technology. That's the use of license plate reading systems along streets and highways. Some municipalities are reconsidering their use, but only a few out of the dozens of law enforcement agencies across the state that took part in a national data sharing network have publicly taken that step. Danielle Camara has more.
The Flagstaff City Council voted this week to end its police department's use of flock. But Flagstaff is just one of several Arizona agencies that participated in a national network for sharing data collected by automated license plate readers, at least between January and July, according to records obtained by the Electronic Frontier Foundation. Other Arizona agencies in the national database included the Department of Public Safety, the police departments of all 3 state universities, Oro Valley Police, and the Pima County Sheriff's Department, which told AZPM in September it had no active cameras. Several dozen other police and sheriff departments are also in the database. UA and ASU police say they no longer share in the national database, and Oro Valley PD said it approves searches on a case-by-case basis. I'm Danielle Camara, AZPM News.
A Texas man already on probation was arrested in Pima County for allegedly tagging a renowned Tucson muralist's art on 4th Avenue. We hear more in this report from Noor Hagigi.
Joe Pajic's 2024 hot air balloon mural was graffitied last week, a crime that may lead to felony charges for the suspect, according to the Pima County Superior Court. Pajic said this is the second time his work has been defaced in the 20-plus years he has been a full-time Tucson muralist.
In general, Tucson's a wonderful place because people really have respect for the murals in town. And it allows a whole bunch of artists to put stuff up and not have to worry about them getting ruined.
Because the city is not responsible for graffiti removal on murals, Pajic must handle the repairs. However, records show the amount in criminal damages may cost the suspect up to $10,000. I'm Noor Hagigi, AZPM News.
A University of Arizona-led study looks at that questionnaire you fill out when you visit your doctor's office. Tony Perkins reports.
U of A psychology professor Zachary Cohen notes the study's results are especially concerning for physicians prescribing treatment for elderly patients.
Unfortunately, some of these questionnaires are just worded in a way that is not clear enough.
Cohen and his research team asked 850 people to fill out the patient health questionnaire and take a test on how they interpreted the questions. The results showed that the questions posed in the test couldn't accurately tell providers what symptoms patients were experiencing. The lengthy list is mandated by the National Institutes of Health. Cohen says changing the language related to symptom frequency and distress on the form could make a difference. I'm Tony Perkins, AZPM News.
Arizona Attorney General Chris Mays will dismiss the 9 criminal charges against former U.S. Senate candidate Jim Lehman, who was one of 11 Arizona Republicans who signed a document sent to Washington falsely claiming President Donald Trump had defeated former President Joe Biden in the state in 2020. The Arizona Republic first reported the decision. A state grand jury first indicted the so-called fake electors more than a year ago, along with several allies, including attorney Rudy Giuliani and former Trump Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, on fraud and other felony charges. Attorney Dennis Wilenchik, who represents Lehman, says he expects Mays to file a motion to dismiss the charges and said Lehman did not agree to a plea deal and isn't required to cooperate with the prosecution of the remaining defendants. The Cochise County Sheriff's Office is planning to build its own animal shelter. Nick Rommel has our story.
Unlike Pima, Santa Cruz, and Graham counties, Cochise County doesn't have its own animal shelter. Instead, it relies on local facilities. But those haven't had an easy year. Benson's animal shelter closed for several months when its only staff member resigned. A volunteer-run shelter in Tombstone announced in November it was at full capacity. Mark Daniels is the Cochise County Sheriff.
I worked here almost 4 decades. We're well overdue.
The new shelter is planned for Huachuca City with space for at least 40 dogs. It's projected to cost $3 million, partly covered by a federal grant. According to Cochise County Sheriff's Office documents, Huachuca City contracts for Arizona State prison labor and is willing to provide inmates to work at the animal shelter. Nick Rommel, AZPM News.
After years of struggling numbers, the Mount Graham Red Squirrel population is holding steady. From Phoenix, Greg Honey has the latest.
A new survey from state and federal wildlife agencies shows the number of squirrels in the Pinaleno Mountains of southeastern Arizona held at about 230 over the last 2 years. After the Fry Fire of 2017, their population fell to just 35, which led to environmental groups petitioning the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service to expand the protected habitats for the squirrels. And in July, a federal judge gave U.S. Fish and Wildlife until next September to come up with a plan for protecting the endangered species. For years, the Mount Graham Red Squirrels have struggled with habitat loss, insect infestations, and competition with non-native species. Greg Honey, Phoenix.
And now you're caught up on the stories we've covered today at Arizona Public Media. Thanks for listening. Subscribe to AZPM News Daily wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Steve Jess, and we'll be back tomorrow.
Support comes from Hughes Federal Credit Union, a local not-for-profit offering debit cards by Tucson artist Diana Medeiros with designs that celebrate the Sonoran Desert. Details are at hughesfcu.org/MADARAS. Member NCUA.